Hey everyone, so yesterday I talked about how you can continue using linear progression for your whole training career for basically years and years and years. And I just wanted to expand on that a little bit today because there's like three main things that are gonna make up your program as you progress. But just to go through a resume of what I said yesterday. As a beginner, you're gonna have such an easy time progressing that you can do the same, let's say 3 sets of 5 twice a week and go up 2.5 kg each training. So week 1, start with 100 kg in something like the deadlift. On Monday, you're doing 100 kg for 3 sets of 5. Thursday, you're doing it with 102.5 kilos. Monday week 2, 105. Thursday week 2, 107.5. Monday week 3, 110, and so on. When that stops working, you can easily just move it down to 1.25 kg jumps, and that way you're only going up 2.5 kg every week, and you can keep on doing that for some time. Eventually that'll stop working, and you're just going to be doing it, let's say once a week with 3 sets of 5, but probably you can still do that with 2.5 kg jumps because you're going to be doing less total hard work. Eventually that'll also stop working, and what you can do now is instead of doing 3 hard sets between RP 8 and 10, you're gonna be doing one top set of 5 reps, like close to all out, and then you're gonna be doing the 2 other sets at 85 to 90% of your top set. So that way you're doing less hard work, which should allow you again to move up 2.5 kg every week. Eventually that'll stop working as well. And what you can do now is that you can do a top set of 5 reps the first week, a top set of 4 reps the next with like 2.5 kg more, and a top set of 3 the following week after that with another 2.5 kg. And after that, in the 4th week, you return to the top set of 5 reps and repeat just with 2.5 kg more in every training. And with every 2 weeks, the 4 reps with 2.5 kg more are not going to be harder than mean that you are stronger, because you dropped a rep as well and gone up and therefore you've gone up in weight. It's not because you've gotten stronger. So the progress now happens every 3rd week. You're still going to failure each week. When that stops working, what you can then do is that you can do sets of 5 for 4 weeks, and so you're starting at, or maybe like 3 weeks or 2 weeks even to start with. So you're doing 5 at RP 7, 5 at RP 8, and then 5 at RP 9 to 10. And after that, you can either go down to sets of 3 and do that for 3 weeks in the same fashion and then sets of 1, or you can return back to sets of 5. And basically then if you return back to sets of 5, right, then the progress happens every 3rd week. But then you're not going to failure every week, only every 3rd week, and that way it's easier for you to progress. If you decide to go from 5 reps to 3 reps to 1 rep and then back to 5, then it's going to be 9 weeks before you know if you've not made any progress. And that is basically how a lot of the big, very elite people do it. So right now we have just covered linear progression, right? But basically you can't do a program with only linear progression. The 2 other things that are going to make up basically your whole program is going to be undulating, periodization, and conjugation. And undulation means that we are varying the intensities up and down. So the intensities is the percentages of our 1 rep max that we are using. The way we are doing that is going to be mainly through using different rep ranges. But it can also be through having more sets or different like using pauses or slowing down the tempo, things like that. So let's say instead of going from the 3 sets of 5 twice a week, right? Or let's say 4 sets of 5 twice a week. Instead of going from that and then to smaller jumps and still doing 4 sets of 5 twice a week, if we're going to use the undulating periodization, what we'll be doing then is that one day is going to be 4 sets of 5 and the other is going to be 3 sets of 8. So we're training 2 different rep ranges, and then you can still go up 2.5 kg each week. You don't have to make the jump smaller, because you're still getting stimulus in the rep ranges still carry over to strength in the same exercise. And even though you're going up 2.5 kg twice a week, it's only 2.5 kg in the exercise each week, right? And you can do the same thing also with conjugation method. That basically just means that you're using different variations. So one day you might be doing 4 sets of 5 in a back squat, and the other day you're going to be using 4 sets of 5 in the front squat, right? So even though it's different variations, they're still going to train your quads and your glutes mainly, right? So going up 2.5 kg every week on each of those are gonna be easier than going up 2.5 kg twice a week on the same lift, even though you're still going up in like 2 different lifts, 2.5 kg per week. It's just gonna be easier, right? So if you look at like different programs, right? Some people want to say that you can do all of these things like on their own. Like a lot of people say that this program is linear periodization, like the usual linear periodization program you will see is where you are going from 60% of your max for 10 reps, 65 for 10, then like 70 for 8, then like 75 for 7, 80% for 6, 85% for 5, 9% for 4, 95 for like 92.5 for 3, 90 for 5, and so on. And it's gonna be pretty much, or it's gonna be totally impossible actually to use only linear periodization or progression in a training. Like actually, I've been saying linear periodization the whole time. I obviously mean linear progression because it's 2 different things. Right, so if you were only using linear progression in a program, then you would be jumping up or like just using the same 3 sets of 5 in the same exercise for your whole training career, and you would have to go up 2.5 kg or something like that forever, constantly. If you plateau, you're not allowed to change exercises. You're not allowed to change the rep range, because then you start to add undulation or conjugation. Alright, so if you move on to undulation, it's impossible to use that alone as well. You often see people talking about DUP, daily undulating periodization, as if it's something that's a program on its own, where they're doing, as I talked about before, 4 sets of 5 within the on the first day, and then 3 sets of 8 on the second day. So that's why we have daily undulating periodization, because the intensity changes within the training week or within the macro cycle. But then the next week you're gonna be doing it with more weight. So the linear progression happens from macro cycle to macro cycle on a weekly basis. So then it's not just daily undulating periodization only. And at some point you stagnate and you want to change out some of the exercises. And that way you also have conjugation built in. So that it's just gonna be totally impossible to only do one thing alone. If you look at the conjugation method, the way Westside did it, where they have a heavy, light, and medium day. So the heavy day is going to be the maxed out method, the light day is going to be the dynamic effort, and the repetition day is going to be and the medium day is going to be repetition method where they do sets and reps. They might be using they're going to be using maybe like different lifts for like 10 weeks on the max effort day. Going to be using maybe the same lift for some time on the repetition method day, and like changing also changing the exercise on the dynamic effort day maybe after like 4 weeks. But it's basically called conjugation because the max effort day is always going to be a different exercise. But basically the different intensities that they're using, right, the different rep ranges they're using, so they're doing 1 to 3 reps on the max effort day. Then the repetition method day is going to be a higher rep range. So already there we have undulating periodization within every single week, right? And we have the conjugation also from week to week as well, because they're changing the exercise on the max effort day. And then we have linear progression as well, because they're going to be doing the same exercise or maybe on the dynamic effort day for like 4 weeks, going up in reps before then changing, right? So they have linear progression for 4 weeks, changing to a new exercise, linear progression again. So you can see that even though these programs are called linear progression method, something like that, daily undulating periodization, conjugating method, they're not just mutually exclusive to that one thing only. They're all going to include that whole thing, or the whole combination of these 3 factors in a mixture, right? Because that's how you make a really good program. If you look at a powerlifting program, right, how someone like Austin Perkins do, he might be doing on his main day, he might be doing sets of 2 on his back squat. On his secondary day, he might be doing sets of 5. Then he might have a third day that is dynamic effort, but paused. Right, so he has that way within one single week. We already have the daily undulating periodization. Then the next week, he's going to be doing it at a higher RPE, and the same in the 3rd week and the 4th week. And that is going to continue, and after 12 weeks, he's gonna be doing the same thing again. So that way we have, after the 12 weeks, from mesocycle, from macrocycle to macrocycle, we have the linear progression, because he's hopefully going to be doing the same thing, but with a little bit higher weight, right? So, and also he might change up the variation that he's going to be doing, maybe from normal reps to pause reps on the main day, something like that. And that way we also having the conjugating principle built into the program. So that's how we make up a good program, by using all of these 3 different things. Basically what they all do is just a type of fatigue management, because as we get stronger we can't just progress every week. Using different exercises allow you to not just beat up your joints in the same angle constantly, just by doing pull-ups in this position with a neutral grip, changing to that and doing neutral stuff like that. It puts your elbows, your shoulders, stuff like that in different positions, and it's enough to keep you injury free and make it easier to progress. And the same thing with different rep ranges, using high and low weights to get blood flow, to train different specialties, stuff like that, makes it easier to keep on progressing in the long run. And that is basically why we want to use these 3 different things. So I hope this was easy enough for you guys to understand. I got a request to make a beginner strength guide on YouTube, and I'll do that because I have a whiteboard, and it will make it a lot easier for you guys to visualize it, where you can just look at that instead of having to write down every single thing that I say. So I hope you guys like this. And yeah, I'll have a training later today. It's just gonna be chest to bar pull-ups, and it's going to be shoulders and arms. So very, very chill stuff. Right now I'll just go for my sleep. I always have a nap before after my work, after I've been there to work, before my training, and then I'll get some food in me and I'll go for the training, and I'll see you all guys later.